guys, Courtney Mermaid here with another tail making tutorial. Today I'm going to show you guys how to put the Velcro in to your monofin so that you can't actually see it on here. So a lot of people think that you have to sew it all in together, and maybe that works for some of you guys, but what I like to do, I use really heavy duty Velcro, so this is really hard to undo. But you'll see I've got my Velcro on the inside, but you can't see the seams on the outside, and pardon, there's a little bit of damage I gotta touch up. I haven't done any maintenance yet on this one this year, so it needs some love, but you can't see the Velcro underneath. So that's what I'm gonna show you guys how to do today. So if you guys have been following along, we should hopefully be at around the same spot. I know there was a bit of a delay in videos, but, I mean, I guess not for you guys actually watching now, duh. We should be at the same spot now where you have your design all cut out, where you have your Velcro is all sectioned off, so you should have both your pieces for your inside and your top and your bottom, I guess. It makes the most sense. Your tail, I've got my tail just kicking around over here. The kind of Velcro that I like to use for this, well, it is that like self-adhesive kind. You can see that this peels off and this is actually sticky. It's kind of cool. I do that only because it is such a pain in the butt to sew Velcro into vinyl, as you will discover, because yuck, I really, but there isn't a better way to do it, trust me. I have tried pretty much everything you can think of to keep the base of a tail closed, and this works the best for what me and my use. Really? You're so loud. So yeah, why I like the sticky stuff is because what I'll do is I'll cut it for the spaces required that I made myself little notes on here. I will cut it out, stick it on, like together. I'm going to show you guys how to do this in a second. Place the other one on top, peel it apart, and then sew both sides. So, let's do this. Okay, hopefully you guys can see what I'm doing. I have X'd off where I need my Velcro spots to be. Before I put actually stick the Velcro down, I'm going to erase the little extras. This will eventually wash off because it's a dry erase pen. As I mentioned in the previous video, always test your dry erase pens on a small area to make sure they will actually come off. Because there are some instances where it might not, and it would really suck if, you know, you won't probably even see it, but just, you know, I'm one of those, I like to have it neat and tidy, so anyways, ramble on. So yeah, so I'm just gonna start. It's pretty much like a guessing and testing type thing. I'm just gonna kind of look at it and just cut out the sections that I need, really. And this stuff's really sticky, by the way. So that'll go here. I'm gonna make sure that it actually fits perfectly, but I'm gonna stick it down to match this line first, like that, a little bit on the inside, and then I'll cut away the excess afterwards. Anyways, so I'm just gonna go ahead and cut out the rest of the pieces. Okay, so as you can see, I have all the sections cut out and ready to go. You're gonna wanna keep them consistent, so like, you're gonna want all of the soft, fluffy sides on one piece of plastic and all the rough, coarse, like catchy sides. I'm sure there's technical terms for this, but anyways, on the other piece of plastic. So what I'm gonna do now is make sure I've got the right sides, and I'm going to peel back one of them and then stick them down for all of them. Okay, so at this point you should be covered in yuckiness from the ink and, and about ready to throw in the towel, but hang in there because the stressful, frustrating part is almost done. I have all of these guys now stuck down. You'll see there's like a little bit of excess like discoloration from the marker. Not a big deal. If I show you my orange tailed again, you don't actually see any of this. This is all going to be underneath / covered. So yeah, so now I'm just going to cut away the excess little guys before I go and stick these two together. Okay, so now these guys all have a nice edge that follows along with with the, well, the edge of the plastic. So now I just take all these guys off. Start by taking just a couple off at a time, and then it helps you actually line it up better. The previous tail I did with taking them all off, and it just occurred to me now, or actually as I was filming that last little bit, that if I take them off only a couple at a time, it actually gives me a better anchor point. So, see? You learn something with every single tail that you make is an experience. Okay, so I just grab that, make sure that he lines up. There we go. Okay. Look at that. Beautiful, right? Woo. Okay. So this by itself is not enough to actually hold in place. Now we actually have to carefully take these two guys apart. Now that we know that they fit nicely together, we need to take them apart, and we're actually going to sew down these individual Velcro pieces one at a time for both sides, because this glue will come off in the water, and it just isn't going to hold your fin in. Your fin will cut right through it, and the whole thing will come apart. So don't just leave it at this stage. Please, please, please make sure that you follow through with the rest of the steps. So when you guys are pulling these apart, I feel like I need to emphasize this because sometimes people are just too rushed to get stuff done. You need to actually be holding both sides to peel this apart, because if you just let it go, that's what's going to happen. It's going to peel apart from itself. So you actually have to, see, this is just to hold it down, okay? Just to hold it down, so while you're sewing, away it goes. I warn you, this is at a bit of a risk to your machine because there is sticky stuff dealing with the needle. Like, just keep an eye on your machine. Make sure it can actually handle what you're doing. You know, I don't know that much about sewing machines, to be perfectly honest with you. My gut tells me that that might be a thing. Oh, look, I got one backwards. Oh, my tail's lopsided, you guys. Oh, no. Oh, it's okay. I have one with this fuzzy side. I have one rough one, so no big deal. But, it, you know, the OCD me is really freaking out right now, but that's okay. So it doesn't really matter with what side you start. Just grab whatever side. I'm going to move you guys. Okay, so I hope you guys have a good view. I'm going to be using a zigzag stitch for this one, which is just the really nice back and forth one. You do not need to do the triple stitch on this. In fact, you will probably ruin your vinyl and your machine doing that. You can just use a straight ahead, like regular stitch as well, but for me, I don't know why, I just feel like for some reason that the zigzag stitch might be more secure. I'm probably going to run out of thread in my bobbin as well, so at some point, it's not really important to you guys, but just mental note, Courtney, pay attention. Oh, where's my... I've been learning how to use my serger. So yes, I got a serger for Christmas from my mom. So now I don't know where any of my pedals are. I'm like, my foot's here, is my foot here? I don't know. Okay. So that's number 3 on my machine. And away we go. Go slow too, like don't whiz through this like a crazy person, because that's just no good. So one more stitch, put your needle in, so you can see right here my needle is in, because I'm gonna pick this up and move it around to do to do the other side. So pick up my foot, and I need to kind of I swear, like, my my washer and dryer is psycho. Okay, so there you go. First one is, I don't know, where can you see it, is done. It doesn't have to be perfect because you're not going to see it. It just needs to be a little bit more secure than it is. You are going to skip stitches occasionally if your tension isn't set correctly. You can see I had a little bit of an issue. It's also caused by gunk and stuff building up. So just like I said, just be aware that, you know, this can damage your machine a little bit, so just be, you know, be aware of that, and it's at, you know, sort of use this at your own discretion, really. You know, yeah, and so it takes some trial and error as well, but there you go. And so now I'm just going to go through and do the rest. Okay, so pull up my pants here. Yeah, so sewn one side, completely done now. So these guys are in there. Now when you go to pull them apart, you don't have to, you should still always be gentle with your tails, because I mean, let's face it, when you put, you know, 4 months of work into one tail, you know, you should just be kind of nice to it. But what you'll find is now you can pull it apart a little bit better. Stuff stays in place. It's quite tough, sort of more durable, so that when your monofin is on the inside, it's not cutting through. Now, okay, important side note. Big mistake that I made with this tail, which was in fact actually one of the only mistakes I made with this tail for once, was this. Let me just show you guys a thing. Pro tip, okay? Don't leave this kind of stuff, okay? Don't leave like excess. Have your Velcro come right to the line, like I did on these guys, okay? Have it come right to the line. Now I'm gonna explain to you why. Your monofin is gonna get stuck in between these, okay? It's gonna start pulling apart the glue, okay? Not only that, it's gonna look weird when it gets stuck because this gets pulled further back, which is just really weird. So just pay extra careful attention that you aren't leaving a gap that's not carefully glued down. Also, as you can see, this will come into play later on when we get into painting. I made the fatal error of painting my plastic before I glued it to the fabric. And as you can see, the plastic paint, because essentially this paint is just liquid plastic, right? Acrylic paint. While it doesn't really totally come off just the plastic by itself, it does a little bit. You can see the wear there. If you glue and then you glue it down over top of the paint's just going to peel right off. So this will eventually cause me some problems, with the sole exception being the area is actually being held down by the spots where I stitched. If you look super over here, super carefully, the stitching is actually holding my fabric to the plastic. So this tail will have a bit of a limited lifespan as a result of that, I expect. I could probably try to glue things down again. I might come up with some better solutions later on, but you can also see sort of some of the leftover like markings. Most of it washes off, but some of it will stay, but you don't see it on the other side at all. So that's just an important thing to note. You know, learn from my mistakes. That's the whole point of these videos, is for you guys to get information based on the experiences that I have had with the many tails that I've made. You know, it's a constantly evolving process. So what works for one tail, depending on the design, might not necessarily work for another tail. But to complete this process for these guys, I am now going to just be sewing these ones in, putting them together, fitting them into my tail to double check them, at which point I will be gluing, which will be a separate video because it's actually quite cold here in Canada right now, and I don't really want to have all my windows open. So I'm going to do that maybe tomorrow if it's sunnier, I don't know, maybe. But for now, this will get you guys going, and if you've not done this before, this will probably take you a few minutes to figure out anyways. So as always, you know, happy sewing. Send me your questions and comments if you have any. I will be happy to answer those for you. If not via reply, I can add them on into the next video. And yeah, so there you go. That's it for this video for today. Hope you guys are enjoying this so far. I would love to hear some feedback from you if you have any. And yeah, happy sewing, guys, and happy swimming. Bye.